Hey everyone, thanks for coming on and being part of this 8th dYdX Community Town Hall. This is going to be one of first of many, I guess, in 2024, with a number of exciting discussions taking place from all of the panelists here. And it's great to see a number of familiar faces and new names in the audience. There's been some really exciting announcements that have happened over the past few days, weeks, months from all teams in the dYdX ecosystem. So it's exciting that we can all discuss this here today. And share it with you guys. As for everyone in the audience, feel free to ask your questions in the Q&A or in the chat, and we'll do our best to pay attention to that. And at the end of this town hall, we can answer those questions specifically or bring you up whichever way you kind of want there. To give newbies of the town hall kind of an overview on how this is usually structured, we usually have stakeholders of the dYdX ecosystem on here. They usually come and present for about 5 to 10 minutes, usually discuss what things are happening during within that entity itself, whether it's dYdX trading, the foundation, the ops subDAO, the grant subDAO, Chaos Labs, etc. here today. So we're excited to get into that. So kind of giving an overview of everyone here. So first off, we have Paul Erlanger from dYdX Trading. I know he's a first to the town hall, and he'll share some insights behind the workings of the dYdX trading team. We have Valentine, who by now I know most of you had contact with in the operations subDAO. And I know they recently put out their report, which is exciting. So encourage everyone to check that out on the forums. We have Carl, another regular from the DGP, who will touch on grants as well as the kind of MEV committee, which is another group that was created by the through dYdX governance. We also have Ori from Chaos Labs. He's going to be discussing season 1 of the launch incentives programs, which has had a huge feedback really globally over the past week or so, and it's delivered a lot of excitement. And then finally, we'll be finishing off with Josh from the dYdX Foundation, who will go through asset listing and some of the processes and recent developments there. And then lastly, will be with Charles, the CEO of the dYdX Foundation, who will talk through some recent events from the dYdX Foundation, some key initiatives and things to look forward to in 2024. So lastly, just a few bits of housekeeping. Please keep the questions in the Q&A on topic. We'll pay attention to these and we'll direct them to the appropriate party. We'll do our best to stick to 5 to 10 minutes per person and move swiftly through here. So first off, Paul, I will hand over to you.
Cool. Thanks, James. You want to move to the next slide? Awesome. Yeah, nice to meet everyone. Filling in for Nathan here, who I usually handle things on the dYdX trading side. I run the business development team over at dYdX Trading. Yeah, I can share a few updates here. James, I don't know what the usual format is here. Happy to share these updates and maybe like take some questions from the chat or do that at the end. But can keep this pretty free flow and open format because I think that would probably be most helpful. So yeah, CCTP launched. That is now the primary onboarding flow for people depositing USDC on chain. Super excited about this. I think there are some kinks in onboarding we're still working out. But a lot of the issues with the osmosis pool that came up in the Discord and everything have kind of subsided and been resolved. We're working to expedite deposit times here. CCTP is currently available from Ethereum as the relayers are open, although I believe we're working this week to get relayers open or someone's opening relayers to a bunch of other chains. So it should be pretty easy to deposit from a bunch of L2s and other L1s by the end of week or early next week. So look out for announcements on the Twitter for that. We had our all-time high in trading volume. I believe cumulatively we have crossed 10 billion now. And we have about 34 million in open interest, which is a huge milestone for us. I think that this blew our expectations out of the water of what we expected the first couple months of the dYdX chain to do. So it's really, really exciting. And hopefully we continue to be exponential from here. Yeah, the new blog posts focusing on dYdX chain updates can talk about what some of the plans are for next year, because I think we have some exciting plans. So for our H1 roadmap for 2024, we on the on the deposit and withdrawal side, or just onboarding generally to the chain, we're going to focus as a P0 on centralized exchange on and offboarding. I believe Persistence One opened on the testnet a liquid staking form of dYdX yesterday. And I believe Stride is going to have a competing one soon. And we're working on a few other in-app staking. So you could stake directly to any validator, not through Kepler, but through dYdX natively. So those are some things on the trading roadmap. We also want to build isolated margin that will allow for permissionless markets much easier. So that's another item listed here. So hopefully the goal is that anyone can list any markets. I think in the meantime, it'd be extremely helpful for community members that want new markets listed to begin that process in the forum. Everyone's seen how that process worked with TIA that was listed recently, so that was really great. And then create a UI on the trading page for permissionless markets so people could list them pretty easily. I think would be a great goal for us. And then we're working on a lot of reliability things. So front end performance, there's been some issues with order times and placements. So we're working on resolving those, improving round trip trade metrics and our general infrastructure. We're working to update to the newest version of the Cosmos SDK, which should help a lot. We want to build reduce only FOK and IOC taker only orders. And then also like a bunch of bug bashing and polishes, as well as continuing to work on our risk and safety, as that's the highest priority for us. So yeah, those are the biggest things on the trading roadmap for the first half of 2024.
Thanks, Paul. That's awesome. Yeah. So what we'll do now, we'll go through the slides just person by person. People, if anyone wants to ask any questions to Paul or specifically on the dYdX trading side, feel free to ask it in the Q&A and chat. I'm sure Paul will happily answer that in the chat. And then if you want to come on at the end, we can bring people up to ask Paul a question as well. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Thanks, James.
Cool. Artem, if you wouldn't mind moving to the next slide. Carl, over to you.
Hey, thank you, James. I also have Robo and McKay joining me from the grants program as well here today. So they'll share an update on the work that they've been doing. I'll keep it brief since you guys will hear from me again later on the MEV side of things, but just a quick background as always for anybody not familiar. The grants program is a community-run initiative with the goal of promoting the development of dYdX through community grants. So we look for community contributors and external providers that can help push the protocol forward and improve the overall ecosystem, whether it's tooling, community initiatives, integrations, you name it, we're actively looking to fund. And so anybody who, after this call or during, is interested in contributing, please go to dYdXgrants.com, submit an application, take a look at the work that we're doing, and hit us up on Discord as well. A quick operational update from me. The DGP has 2 months left now on its current extension, which was approved earlier, in the fall of last year now, 2024. And we have just over $1 million in funding left. So we are exploring and kind of putting our heads together to find more impactful grants to fund in these last few weeks of the program before we go back towards an additional renewal or kind of a revision of the current program. In the past few months, we've been funding tooling for additional trading clients, looking for integrations and looking for ways to promote kind of or continue to promote the onboarding and kind of addition of new trading volume and new trading users on the dYdX v4 protocol. That's kind of the main priority for us, and we're doing that in a few different ways. So you can expect a bit more from us in the next few weeks with regards to that. Yeah, and we have a few other initiatives to explore market listings and some other community stuff coming up. Yeah, I'll hand it off to Robo and McKay if you guys want to give a quick update on the community side.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, everyone. I'll go ahead and go first. And I know our time's brief here, so I want to just quickly focus on what we have coming up. We've been chatting with some dYdX stakeholders about the best routes to take for new grants and RFPs. And we're going to be focusing coming up here on content grants in like high impact markets. So if you saw the latest batch of grants that was approved, the first of these just went out, a grant to PA News for Chinese content promotion and creation. We've also just put up an RFP for German language content. And you should see some more RFPs going out shortly for languages like Dutch, Japanese, and various other like high impact markets for like specific content. We're also working on a couple of retroactive grants, some really cool validator tools. One of those is with the Kiln validator team. They posted about their tool on the dYdX forum, and we noticed that they had done that and hopped on and started kind of talking about how to get that more deeply integrated with dYdX. So look out for that soon as well.
Awesome.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. Makai from dYdX Grants here. I'm going to highlight a couple of initiatives that we have. One of the first things and something we're really excited about is the staking rewards collaboration we have. So staking rewards is one of the probably largest and most reputable staking information sources online. And we will be integrating with them for dYdX v4. We're really excited. Not only is this going to be the definitive resource for staking on dYdX v4, but staking rewards is also really close with the Cosmos ecosystem. So there's really like a lot of synergy there for us to collaborate. Not only will there be integration, but also a dYdX staking week in collaboration on Twitter or X that will promote this initiative, as well as providing like a lot of content and information and educational resources. We're really excited about that. There's also a lot of great RFPs up on dYdXgrants.com. Really want to encourage everybody to, take a look at that and also to check in with the forums. There's a lot of great discussions happening there. And really like the forums are a great place for any dYdX community member to contribute. And there's always a lot of interesting things happening in the realm of grants there. Any RFP ideas, any questions people have, really encourage everybody to go there. But yeah, we're really excited about those updates, and thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks, McKay. Thanks, Robbo. Appreciate that. Artem, if you wouldn't mind moving to the next one. Val, over to you.
Thank you, James. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the update from the subDAO. And from me, also a quick reminder, the subDAO was mandated by the dYdX community to run a community-owned infrastructure for the dYdX chain. We are running the dYdX.trade front end and have contracted out the indexer for the dYdX chain that is also community-owned. Yeah, we just published a year review for 2023, sorry. 2024 just started. That can be found on dYdXupsDAO.com on our blog, or you can go to the forum. I can just echo McKay's suggestion, and you will find a post directing you to our year review there as well. The highlights of what we have been doing in 2023 and what we were able to achieve is definitely the coordination of the genesis of the dYdX chain on the 26th of October. And as just mentioned, the launch of the front end that was very smoothly, all in all, as well as the ancillary infrastructure for the dYdX chain that we are supporting, the indexer, IBC relayers, archival nodes, and RPC nodes that are necessary for a smooth running dYdX chain ecosystem, all in all. In this summary, we're also talking about what the financial situation of the DOT 2.0 is looking like. The quick overview is that we have spent close to 1.1 million USDC in 2023. And we have a budget for roughly 400K per USDC per month of 2024. This difference in kind of how much we spent in a half year versus how much we are going to spend in the following 12 months is explained by the amount of infrastructure that is active. So the exchange is fully live since end of November. This kind of traffic has used a lot of the budget, and before we didn't have this, so that is why this distribution looks like this. We see if there are any questions. Please feel free to reach out to me. Additionally to supporting the infrastructure, obviously we are focusing 2024 on getting the operation subDAO a more reliable structure, beginning with adding new trustees to the trustee group, to get sorry for the audio. I don't know what, I hope you can understand it a little bit better now.
You might want to just turn your video off, Val, just for a sec, just in case that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Just checking, sorry. Yeah, as just mentioned, we want to bring on 3 new trustees to bring the trustee count back to 5. And from a technical perspective, we're focusing on the mobile applications in 2024 to be able to launch them as soon as possible. And last but not least, we're also going to go to update the subDAO playbook to kind of share all our learnings from the past with the community, so we enable others to start and also operate new subDAOs if that need might arises. Yeah.
Thanks, Val.
Thank you, everyone.
Nice update. Cool. Ori, over to you.
Hi, everybody. Happy to be here on the call, give you some more on the incentives program. We've provided most of these updates, both on the forums, on our blog post, on Twitter, but happy to run through the end of season 1. So last week was the last day of the first season. As a reminder, we don't disclose ahead of time when these seasons are going to end. We provide a 10-day time frame where we randomly choose a day to end the season. This helps with mitigating manipulation at the end of these trading seasons. So the trading season number 1 ended last week with very positive results in terms of the volume and growth of the dYdX chain. Over $9.5 billion in trading volume over the course of season 1. We had over 2,000 traders and over 1,200 market makers participating and receiving points. And overall, lots of community engagement, a lot of very, very strong feedback from the community on how the program is going, on the communications, also feedback for improvements on the product and ideas for different improvements for the formula. We take these things into consideration. Some of them are implemented, some of them are also being considered for future seasons. And yeah, we're doing our best to accommodate all of these. I do ask the community to continue reaching out through all avenues, through Twitter, through the forums, with your questions, with your feedback. It's super important for us. At the end of the day, that the program is tailored in a way that it's flexible. We're learning as we go on how rewards impact usage and how they should be adjusted. So please, I think the feedback so far has been great and we really appreciate it. In terms of the next steps, for capping season 1, we put forward a proposal on the forum yesterday or 2 days ago with the proposal of the distribution of incentives. This was done after analyzing the season data and also incorporating the wash trading analysis, which we published on the forums as well. We thank the grants program for helping sponsoring the proposal and putting it on chain next week, and hope to see that live early next week. Moving forward, season 2, we just finished the first week of season 2, which introduces the reward-based incentives. Different users were put into the different leagues or different tiers based on their average equity during season 1. And during this next season, they're going to be competing for $800,000 across the different tiers, with ROI being the main mechanism to reward these users. We provided the details on the season also on the forums, also on the Chaos blog post. We're constantly iterating on the portal on how we're presenting the data and how the community can interact with Chaos Labs. So once again, we urge everybody to look into that, to continue participating in the program, and continue with the feedback as we enhance the project, the program. Once again, happy to answer any questions also on this call and in the Q&A section.
Thanks, Ori. Appreciate that. I think incentive program's been a real excitement for the dYdX community. You can see there's some questions coming in the Q&A down the bottom there as well. If you've got time to have a look through those, that'd be great. Cool. Moving on. Carl, back to you.
Oh my God, we're back. Sorry we couldn't get a more exciting guest for this one. I'll preface by saying that I'll keep it brief here because we're actually scheduling a larger AMA to discuss everything that is MEV and the MEV committee later in the month. And that's where we'll invite a lot of the existing members from the committee so that you guys can hear from them as well. But for today, we just decided to have me give the update. And yeah, whoever put the slides together, I didn't actually include that meme in there, but thank you for including that meme in there because I love that meme. It makes me laugh every time. So that basically is the goal of the MEV committee is that meme alone. So the grants program funded this initiative to help the community kind of enforce a social mitigation strategy against proposer-led MEV. It was set up at the beginning of December following a successful governance proposal that kind of united the community around this initiative to kind of mutually agree that we should enforce MEV via social mitigation in the form of retroactive action. And then the grants team ended up funding kind of a collective of MEV experts and community members and other kind of participants who have good knowledge in the space who can contribute towards this active review. So as a quick background reminder, MEV on dYdX v4 is defined as block proposers deviating from what we would expect to be the standard order matching in a given block. So since dYdX v4 validators run in-memory order books, what happens is orders get submitted, they get gossiped around to each validator. When it comes time for the validator to submit and propose their block, they review all the orders that have been gossiped to them. They perform functions to match them based on pricing, limit orders, market orders, etc. And then they go back to the validators and they say, okay, here's the end state of the order books across all the markets on dYdX v4 based on what I know to be true with regards to order matches and kind of cancellations and kind of all of the on-chain activity that's happened, right? Validators then take that in and they say, cool, that looks good. You know, your block looks good in general. We'll push that forward and you know, we'll vote on committing that block. The problem is validators can't review the actual order matching sequencing and what's really been done by the block proposer with regards to order matching. So there exists an opportunity for block proposers to manipulate that sequence of events. They can do so in a way that they insert their own orders. They could ignore a cancellation. Overall, they can kind of just play around and do some funny business there with the hope of profiting or kind of benefiting a single sub-account in a way that would be considered suboptimal or kind of malicious, right? It could be that they've partnered with a trading firm or that they have their own trading sub-account that they try to profit from whenever it comes time to submit a block. So that's kind of how we think of MEV on dYdX v4, right? And so the problem is, as of today, there's no in-protocol solution to deal with this problem. Ideally, we would have something a bit more built in that can stop this from happening, but for the time being, there's nothing that we can do. And so our approach instead, as a whole, as a community, has been, let's enforce this via social mitigation. What that means is the community will review all of the on-chain activity. They'll try to figure out, is there a block proposer that's doing malicious behavior, that's trying to profit, and that's hurting dYdX traders? And if yes, let's punish them. Basically, let's stop them from getting away with this. It could involve flashing. It could be undelegating so that they drop off the active set. There's a few different things that we can do there. And so the committee stepped in here because in order for this to be successful and in order for there to be kind of this threat to a potential bad actor, we need some credibility with regards to the community is actually actively and proactively monitoring this on-chain activity in order to catch malicious activity. So the grants program has previously funded Skip, who has built an awesome dashboard, dYdX.skip.money. You want to take a look, which helps us review at a high level any sort of possible MEV activity that's being done. But the committee is taking a step further in order to really dig deeper into on-chain activity and monitor block by block any sort of discrepancies, and then review at a very granular level the mempool data in a given block in order to determine, has there been any sort of malicious behavior here by the block proposer. So that's what we've been doing in the past month. We've actually been beefing up our tooling to really be able to perform these deep dives using our own non-validating full node, using a Datadog dashboard that has alerts and allows us to dig a little deeper. And we're using Nunez mempool database and have built the appropriate scripts in order to kind of dig into that. And so we've built a process around all of this so that when we do see high levels of activity, we can dig in. And at the same time, we've been monitoring on-chain activity to try to catch anything. The good news is that there actually hasn't really been any sort of malicious behavior that's worth flagging, in our opinion, based on the activity that we've seen. It's still early in the protocol on the chain, so it's very likely that people are just still getting acclimated and familiar, but we would also just like to hope to think that maybe this won't be as big of a problem as we suspected. But in any case, that's where we stand today. Moving forward, we're going to keep beefing this up. We're going to try to make the data that we're compiling also available to the community so that additional researchers or people that are interested can review, and we'll continue to share updates based on our findings. I'll stop there.
Thanks, Carl. That's a super interesting concept. And when can everyone expect the AMA to be for this, roughly?
Yeah, I would say in January, in the next couple of weeks, we will try to pencil something in and share with the community in the next week or so.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thanks for that. Cool. Josh, over to you.
Hey, thanks a bunch, James. Nice to see everybody. Thanks for showing up, guys. Josh here from the Gov team over at the dYdX Foundation. Just going to talk today about asset listings and new markets on dYdX. I think, most important thing to highlight that's come up a few times already is the dYdX community successfully listed its first asset on dYdX chain, which is a pretty huge accomplishment for the entire community, as well as, the exchange, thinking about the future growth of the protocol. So on December 22nd, the proposal that Amber put up to add the TIA USD market finally passed. Overall, the process went extremely smoothly. I think everybody was kind of super impressed with how everything went off without a hitch. Just in terms of like the general process, there is like a standard governance process, which we cover pretty in depth in our docs, which I encourage the community to go check out if you are interested in potentially listing a new asset or want to see an asset listed on the exchange. I think the template that Amber used to essentially express their interest in listing TIA is perfect for anybody who's interested in seeing another asset listed on the dYdX exchange. Covers, key sections about the rationale, quick summary, what the specification and implementation looks like. I think one other thing I'll note is what was really impressive, I think, with the TIA listing was just the collective kind of community effort. You saw Chaos Labs come in with particular recommendations around liquidity tier, tick size, leverage, things like that. So there are like a ton of inputs that come along with creating a new market and adding a new market to dYdX chain. And I think our goal in the future is going to be to streamline this process. But yeah, very happy, I think, with how TIAUSD was added to the exchange. Market seems to be humming along. Checked a while ago, and seems like OI and volume have been very good so far. I think moving forward, just in terms of process, so the way that TIA was added was as soon as the governance proposal passed, the market was in post only for an hour, and this was kind of hard coded in the proposal. So it gave market makers a little bit of time to start posting orders, which I think is super helpful, just so when the market actually turned to active, there was sufficient liquidity on the books. Moving forward, I think in an effort to further streamline this process, and I think really like a huge competitive advantage or potential competitive advantage for the dYdX community, dYdX chain ecosystem is going to be being able to react extremely quickly and to be adaptive to new markets that come up. So super exciting new asset listing RFP that the grants program just put out. Would encourage everybody to take a look. It's live on the website right now, but it's essentially looking to compensate candidates, contributors to own kind of asset listing. Now, that doesn't mean that this particular contributor that is getting compensated for asset listing is going to 100% own it. Listing an asset on dYdX chain is fully permissionless and fully open to any community member. Again, anybody with 2,000 unstaked dYdX can create a governance proposal, which includes adding a new market. You know, minimum deposit threshold needs to get to 10,000 for the vote to start, and then the vote needs to pass for the market to be added. But would encourage the community to check out that RFP and apply if you are interested through the grants program website. And I think just a few closing notes on focus for Q1 2024 for, I think, you know, Gov team, dYdX chain ecosystem more broadly around new market listings is, you know, really establishing and having a very flexible process to list markets efficiently. I think, you know, being agile and timely is extremely important, but all of this needs to have the kind of safety and stability of the exchange in top of mind or back of mind. That's it from me, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the chat or DM me if you have contact info. Thanks.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate that. I think an interesting stat is Antonio just tweeted, I think an hour ago, that the goal is to have 500 markets listed by the end of 2024. So a bit of a good stretch to aim for there.
Gonna be a busy 2024 for dYdX ecosystem.
Absolutely. Cool. Charles, over to you.
Excellent. Thank you, James. Thanks everyone also for joining this town hall, and thanks to every presenters for preparing some of the slides and update here. On the dYdX Foundation side, as you know, we've been busy supporting many of the initiatives which has been described here and preparing 2024. Some of the metrics were mentioned a little bit earlier, but I just want to double click on them. Close to more than $2 million in USDCs rewards have been distributed to stakers and validators. That's really a demonstration of what was committed in the early days of the design of the dYdX chain and this upgrade. So it's really coming to reality, and it's really interesting for everyone participating into the staking activities of the dYdX chain to get rewarded mostly in USDC. $30.5 billion of trading volumes. I think dYdX trading was mentioning this earlier in this call. Very impressive numbers and ramping up very quickly. So this is very encouraging and a great milestone for everyone involved in the community with the launch of the dYdX chain. So on governance, as I was mentioning, Josh, a lot of activity. The dYdX forum is more and more active, more and more users. So I really invite everyone to leverage this tool. We have also, I think, the subDAO as someone full-time to kind of assist and animate some of the conversations on the forum. So really use these tools from the community the best you can. Great performance from the validators as well. I think we are seeing the network of validators kind of ossifying after a few weeks. So that's a great thing. We see some big names, we see some new names, we see very many different profiles, either groups or from different geographies, people with very strong technical backgrounds. Some others are coming from the traditional kind of trading part of the ecosystem of dYdX. So a big diversity of validators there. With people with a lot of experience. So that's really good to see and very encouraging for our ecosystem to see that the best-in-class validators are coming in force to really support and grow the chain with all of us. So that's really super important. At the foundation, we started the year with a light reorganization. We have a development and growth team which has been kind of designed within the team of the foundation. So James is leading this together with Isashi and Artem. So they will probably be in touch with some of you for some strategic project and initiative we have in the box for the protocol in the year 2024. The governance team also is growing strongly and having a scope on governance and velocity of governance. Josh is leading this team. We have a new team as well as the foundation. It's what we call the solution team. So it's essentially a group of engineers and technical project managers which are assisting with all the strategic integrations from the infrastructure perspective, from custodians or exchanges, making sure that these strategic initiatives within our ecosystem gets technical support. So that's something we wanted to kind of formalize within the foundation, and it came into existence a few days ago. This team is led by Karan at the foundation. So please meet again the champions of the foundation. They came back from a short break over the holidays, and they are like fully recharged and super energized for 2024. So meet again the champions of the foundation. Among the champions, we have also the marketing team of the foundation, which is working on the annual report for the dYdX ecosystem for 2023. So refreshing format, a lot of great illustrations to let everyone appreciate all the milestone we went through in 2023 and what we have in store for 2024. So wait a few more days and the annual report should be ready and shared widely. Today, a great announcement as well came for the ecosystem. OKX, one of the leading exchange, has announced that it will be supporting the dYdX chain and listing the dYdX V4 token. So it's a great enablement. I'm sure it's going to trigger a lot of actions from various other players from the exchange industry in covering and supporting our ecosystem, should it be with listing, with staking, and some other services. So really improving and kind of magnifying the access to the dYdX chain. So great milestone, and congratulations to everyone involved in supporting this project. More important announcements are coming over the next few weeks, so stay tuned. There is never a dull moment within the dYdX ecosystem. I've been told the testnet is of the version 3 of the dYdX chain is doing very, very well. If you look at the GitHub, they're talking about liquidation daemon improvement. They're talking about more velocity in opening new market, but also winding down markets which are not efficient anymore, and many more features. So on the engineering side, there is definitely a lot of people at work, and we look forward to their launches and an upgrade of the chain. So that's it for me. Thanks again, everyone, for joining and preparing this town hall. Exciting work and exciting year ahead.
Thank you, Charles. Appreciate the update. Cool. Next slide, Artem. Okay, we can probably just stick on this slide. That's it from everyone up here. I guess we have some questions in the Q&A. If anyone wants to come up and ask a question or post any more questions in the chat in Q&A, then we can hang around for about 5 minutes. I'm aware we've been going for about 45, which has gone super quick. So we'll stick around for some more Q&A. If anyone's got any more questions, fire away. But on the MEV council stuff, Carl. Is there a process for validators to challenge these decisions?
Cool, yeah. Part of the process includes us actually reaching out to validators as well to get an understanding of their setup, whether it could be latency, it could be a result of latency or kind of networking issues. So we will always give validators a chance and kind of give them a heads up as well, at least initially. If they're repeat offenders, then yeah, things could look a little differently. But assuming it's kind of the first go around at least, then we'll definitely give validators a chance. And of course, all of our findings are posted publicly on the forum. All of our decisions and recommendations will be posted in the forum, at which point the validator and anybody who's included will be free to kind of push back and give their view of events or kind of their reasoning for what might be happening.
Awesome. Thanks.
And any sort of on-chain retroactive action would, of course, go through a community vote, right? And so at that point, it's up to the community to decide how they want to respond.
Awesome. Thank you. Jesus Perez, is there a way to view statistics of funding rates for different assets? I'm sure you can query the historic funding rates or the current funding rates somewhere. If anyone's got that doc or know where to query it, feel free to put it in the chat there. That'll be super helpful. Raphael, yeah, most up-to-date list of new markets. I think Takeshi pretty much put the MintScan doc up there. That is probably the most up-to-date version today. Thanks, Robin, for this state dYdX information. That's super helpful. Appreciate you being active on Discord over the last few days, informing the community about that. So thank you. What about adding liquidity in dYdX pools and Cosmos ecosystem? So far, native dYdX is very liquid. Probably a question for the dYdX community and governance to think about distribution there. I'm not sure if anyone started that conversation on the forums. If so, definitely would encourage that. Sounds great. Cool. All right. Well, let's end it there then. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Appreciate everyone coming in on the panel as well and running through your section. Next one will be probably in 2 to 3 weeks' time. We'll try and keep these frequent throughout the year, especially as new and exciting announcements get ramped up. As Carl said, there's going to be an MEV AMA over the next few weeks, and I'm sure we can convince Ori and Co to come back on to talk through the more on the incentive side. So stay tuned, guys. Really appreciate you coming on, and we will see you all next time. Thanks, everyone.